To begin project 2, you'll want to start a new document. This is your self-promotional branding booklet. Create new document. You want to make sure that you are in inches prior to start. So if you're not, go to InDesign, Preferences, Units and Increments, and set your horizontal and vertical ruler units to inches. I'm going to unclick Facing Pages in the new document setup. I'm going to set my pages to 10 because that's the requirement. Your intent is to print. Columns, I'm going to set that to 3 because that's the grid structure that I'd like to work with. Margins, 0.25 or 1/4 of an inch is a good way to go. And then bleed, a standard bleed is 0.125. You can say OK. I don't like the orientation of portrait, so that's one thing I forgot to do. So I'm going to go back to File, Document Setup, switch it to Portrait. There we go. So now I have my 10 pages. Having your Pages panel and your Swatches panel readily available when we work is a good idea. Also, your character under Type and Tables, your character panel is also a nice one to access, as you can work with the leading and the point size easily. So those are the 3 panels that I like to have available when I'm working on this project. Now, one of the requirements is to have a master page set up, so it dictates the layout of all your pages to be consistent. So you want to be conscious of whether or not you are in the document workspace or in the master page workspace. So I'm going to double click the master page and I'm going to set up my basic master page. I have a background waiting, so you can do a Command D or a File Place, Control D on the PC, navigate out to where your image is located and place. And this is just a simple background for demonstration purposes. One of the things you'll do with a proportional scale, the quick command key for that is Command Shift click and drag, or Command Control Shift and click and drag on the PC. You want to make sure your image is pulled out to the bleeds. The other thing is I'm going to copy this just because I want it to look a certain way. A quick way to copy is Option click and drag. I'm going to give myself some room for my title. Okay, and as you can see when you're working, everything that's placed on the master page you can see here in the document in the working document area. So now I know I need a title for each of my pages. So I'm going to go to my type tool. I like to align things to the grid. I'm just going to place cover there because I know I can release it from the master page when I get in the working document area and change each category title. To enlarge, a Shift Command, as long as you're highlighted on the word, less than, greater than symbol, to quickly enlarge your type. Or you can go up into this area and change the size. And every time you hit the less than or the greater than symbol, it'll go up or down by 2 points. I'm going to right align it. I'm going to change it to Gill Sans. It's one of my favorite sans serif fonts. You'll want to do a serif and a sans serif font. Choose 2 that go well together, depending on the mood and the tone of your piece. Okay, so I have cover. Cover is something that then is placed if you double click into the document. Every page looks the same. Of course, you're not going to want it to look the same from page to page, so we'll talk about that in a moment. One of the other things you can do, double click back into the master, is add your body copy for placement. So what I'll do that way is add text to where I think it might go well. I add a text box with the type tool, and then I go ahead and I do type, fill with placeholder text. It automatically fills it with placeholder text, so I can get a feel for how my project looks before I actually write the copy for it. Now, a lot of times that's what clients are going to ask you to do anyway, so you'll want to make sure that you do it that way so you get a feel for working that way. We're going to choose a serif typeface now that might go well with Gill Sans. I don't mind Callisto. It's okay for now. I'm going to make it justified. It's just cleaner to me, and I'm going to open up the leading. And of course I can do it on the control panel up here, or I can do it on the character panel here. The leading is here. Open it up. Just make it look nice and clean. And I'd say that's about, get rid of that there. That's about 50 words. I'll even open up one more line, could stand to be lost. Okay, so now I have placeholder copy, I have my cover text, and I have a background image. I believe I'm ready now to go into the working document space. So if I double click onto my first page, you'll notice it looks exactly the same as my master page. And you notice that you can't really move stuff around because it's locked. I'll show you how to release items from the master page so that you can customize them without them moving, which is nice. I know my cover for the most part is going to look completely different than the rest of my pages. So I'm going to release the background image from the master page. I'm going to release those elements. And I know that I don't really want copy on my cover page. So to release elements from the master page, you will do a Command-Shift-Click. And you can see now it's ready. You can edit it or you can delete it. In this case, I'm going to delete it since it's my cover page. I'm going to have something different in the way that it looks here for my cover. I'm going to release my background. I'm going to release the cover, and I'm going to release the top. And you probably won't do this for every page, but just because it's the cover, you might do so. I'm just going to make it look a little bit different than every other page here. This one's actually not going to bleed out. So I'm just doing a quick design that might be a little bit different than the rest of the pages. I want to send this to back, object arrange, send to back, so I can read my cover. So about me. All right, and of course you can get more creative than that. This is just for demonstration purposes. So now my cover looks slightly different than the rest of my pages. Now, if you want a little variety, I would suggest releasing every other page from the master page, the elements, and switching them around slightly. So you can do that, and there is a way to do a second master page, like a B master page based on A, but I'm only requiring that you do one master page for this project. Okay, so for the second page, I'll go ahead and I'll do a Command-Shift-Click. We can keep this one as is, and let's say this is your mission statement. You would switch it. And of course, I'm guessing that you might have an image or many images. I'm going to add a little stroke so that we know that those might be images. Of course, the grids were set there for a purpose to allow us to align. So I'm going to copy some of these. So now I have 4 areas in which I can put photos, which is a nice little offset, and I have a structure that the reader can follow. Now you can see I have my body copy. I didn't have to release that from the master page yet because I'm going to write that copy, so I'll come back to that later. I have my title and I have areas for my images. Now, I would suggest keeping those areas for your images. You could have added these to the master page, which may not be a bad idea. I'm thinking now that we can maybe copy these to the master page. Copy, back up to the master page, place. Okay, if you go back to your document space, you'll notice that some of the ones that you added were a little off, so I'm going to delete those. And so now I have on each page the same exact layout, which is good, but you might want to go every other. So I'll show you quickly how to do that. My mission is exactly the way I want it. My page 3 might be inspiration. I just shrunk the size of that just slightly. Now you might move this over here, and I am holding down shift when I move, so it moves exactly horizontal. To release from the master page, again, is Command Shift Click, and then I'm going to hold down shift and move this to the right column. I want a little variety, and I'm going to Command Shift Click, Command Shift Click. I'm going to delete a couple of these and make just a slight Command Shift Click change in my layout. Because I want to access that one, this one here, I had to move my text out of the way real quick. Command Shift Click. I'll delete that. Move this back. I'm going to copy this over, so now I have space for 2 images. The nice thing now is that I have a little variety when you go from page 1 to page 2, but it is still very consistent in design. That is one way you can bring about some interest, maintaining structure and consistency, is by changing some of the elements, but they all sort of go back to the origin, which is the master page up top. Enjoy this project. If you have any questions, let me know. 10 categories. Make sure you have 50 words per category, and you add some images that are of your choice. Enjoy, and I'll see you in the next video.